into, I will take my first position off this, honestly.
Order. Order submitted.
And now at this point, what I want to see is price have a reversal pattern here, right? And then I would scale in this trade. So just getting in a super high premium, right? Calling a top a little bit, but I do like buying, or I do like shorting when this candle is extremely green, right? Expecting price to flip around here. Yeah, and ES is not moving at all. But yeah, just looking for price to trade back down into this midnight open, this 4 hour fair value gap, and also this London low, right? And then, if we're in profit here when Jolt's job openings comes up, that would be even better. Because I feel like we could just slam down towards this midnight opening price. I'm just looking at this as extremely overbought right now. Extremely overbought. And honestly, even if we trade into this 4 standard deviation here, we can see some type of reaction, right? Now, one thing I am curious to see is if we do see another day like yesterday, where price stays in a small range, right? We did talk about this yesterday, where price was only going to stay in a very, very small range. And look what happened. We didn't even break 400 ticks yesterday from open price to close price. It was 360 tick move. That's all we saw. So I'm very curious to see if we do the same thing today, since we have FOMC tomorrow. I don't know how much Jolt's job openings is going to do, but tomorrow we do have so much. We have ADP, non-farm employment change, advanced GDP. We got some orange folders, pending home sales, federal funds rate, FOMC statement. Like, it's just, yeah, there's a lot going on tomorrow. What up, Jofer? Good morning, bro. How we doing, man? Yeah, yeah, I'm liking shorts, man. I think this midnight opening price is eventually going to act as a magnet here. Had a long night with the kiddos or what? Long night with the kiddos. You need some caffeine, bro. That's why I'm having. I have coffee every morning, bro. Honestly, I probably consume too much caffeine. I wake up in the morning. So I wake up in the morning. I slam a pre-workout. I slam like half a scoop of pre-workout. I go to the gym, come back, make a coffee, get ready for the market. Slam a coffee. Some days I'll have like Diet Coke as well, like later in the day. Yeah, probably a lot of caffeine. I don't know. Maybe I'm drinking too much. Yeah. Yeah, I know a lot of people are in that kind of routine, right? So we got a pre-market low right here. This could be a low-hanging fruit target as well. I'm just looking to see where I can scale in this trade. Honestly, we do have a 5-minute fair value gap right here that kind of established right off the open. So I think if we invert this fair value gap, it's going to be pretty smooth sailing to that midnight open. Well, it'll be smooth sailing to the pre-market lows, but then also this London low midnight open probably. That's just the thought process, right? This is actually an inverse fair value gap now. All right, so kind of top ticking this trade. Not quite tick, not quite to the tick, but getting a really good fill price up here while this candle is bullish. And now we just want this 15-minute candle to flip and this 5-minute to trade below the fair value gap. Stops at break even. All right, not bad. Yeah, we still can see a reaction off of this 5-minute fair value gap and we go higher. So thought you were in 10 contracts. Nah, bro. Yeah, if any of you guys, like I was talking about earlier, if any of you guys, want to stock up on accounts, now's the time to do it. It's the last day. But yeah, and I lost my 20 PA accounts like a week ago, week and a half ago, and back to trading the 20 PA accounts again. Had to drop some money, but got them back. Yeah, Randy, I don't pay too much attention to the 1 minute. I'm not gonna lie, bro. The 1 minute has put me on my ass. So I look more at the higher time frames, try to get a good fill, see where price wants to go overall, and then I kind of just watch like the 15-minute and the 5-minute. I started trading the 1 minute a couple weeks ago, and that's how I blew my 20 PA against. Tough, man. Tough. So I do like this bearish candle coming in here on the 5-minute, but I would have liked to see this take the high and then take the low as well. That would have been a bearish engulfing candle. And I would have entered my second contract on that if I saw the high being ran as well. But we are at the start of another 15-minute candle here. And we could be making a wick to go higher, but let's see if we can break the low of this candle on this 15-minute candle. But like I said, we got Jolt's job openings at 10, so need to be a little cautious with that. Yeah, I feel that, Randy. Honestly, I'm the most successful I ever was with trading is calling tops and catching falling knives, right? Because the way I trade with such a big stop loss, right? If I expect a reaction off of this price, right? And I get in on this candle when it's extremely bullish, right? It's a huge green candle. I'm going to get way better risk to reward than if I waited for a first entry confirmation like here, right? If this was my entry confirmation and this was my first entry and then I tried to scale in along the way, I'm getting less risk to reward. But now I called a top, right? I called a top up here, and now when I get entry confirmation, I can scale in one more time and trail my stops. You know what I mean? So that's kind of how my thought process is with a if I'm basically calling a top, right? That first entry is going to have a very, very big stop loss. Yo, Peter, what's up, man? Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. So at this point, you know, if we close below this fair value gap, we can test back into it and get an entry, another entry. Now, the only thing I'm worried about is the 10 a.m. Jolt's job opening. It could run for that 9 a.m. high, right? That's my only concern. So we got this closure in 30 seconds. Nah, I don't think it will go to yesterday's low. I don't think so. That would be a huge reversal signal in the market. And I would say FOMC tomorrow would be a bloodbath, to be honest. But it depends on what they do with the rates. Now, I am thinking about taking this here, taking another entry. We might not get another scale in opportunity if this just melts towards the sell side liquidity, right? So breaking the low right there. With that break of the low, we can go break even. There's no reason to have risk on anymore. And we might just be running all the way for here right now. ES is finally getting some movement. Yeah, that would be a huge sell-off though, if it did. And boys, I might be done today before the data release even comes out. It might be that easy. See if we can get this reaction here. Got 40 points on 15 micros. Let's go, bro. Let's go. Got your adrenaline going, huh? Really got that adrenaline going. Yeah, where? Let's see. Halfway would be here. Yeah, we called a top a little bit there. Now, it is it is a little dangerous here though, to be honest, because we can see this as a liquidity grab and price trades higher towards this 4 standard deviation. So I'm a little reluctant adding a contract here just because we can see that reversal, right? If price decides it wants to trade for all-time highs again. But this manipulation leg was a good sign, right? For price. Just nice and easy, bro. Accumulation, manipulation, distribution. But we need to get some follow through here. Need to get some follow through to that midnight open. Yeah, I'm thinking we will get there. The only thing that concerns me is if we take our sweet time getting there before 10 a.m., 10 a.m. could run this high. And if there's slippage, I could be in a scenario where I don't get filled at break even. So if we run up here instantly like 100 points and price doesn't fill me to up here, I would be taking an unnecessary like $50, $100 loss, right? But also, inversely, this 10 a.m. could open up and slam down. I'm just looking at worst case scenario, right? For myself. Yeah, so getting this balanced price range here, we have this inverse fair value gap, and now we have a fair value gap that's forming here in 3 seconds. So now we got that fair value gap. It would be nice to see we just slightly tap into this fair value gap and dump. I do think there is too much pull down here. That's why I'm just heavily short, right? We do have that midnight open. We have that London low. We have that 4-hour fair value gap. I think there's just way too much liquidity resting down here, right? And then after that, I'm not really concerned what price does for the rest of the day. Because we look at the daily. I'm not looking at the daily low as a target, right? I'm not looking at this daily low as a target. If anything, maybe this current daily low. But after sweeping the high of this previous day's candle, if we sweep the low of this candle, I would say we're in danger of starting to short the market. Right? We could be looking at some of these lows getting around if we start running the low of this candle. Especially if we close down there. because in a bull market you don't see a candle's high and the low get taken unless it's like a big reversal candle, right? Yep, exactly, Jofer. Yep. So that could be the one sign, right? Especially if it's a Tuesday, right? Monday, Tuesday, we go higher. There's a lot of exit liquidity for big players, right? A lot of exit liquidity. And it would be a narrative to start moving lower for the rest of the week since we've already printed the high Monday, Tuesday, then the weekly candles slams down. But you know, that's it. That's if we take the daily low. It's like a 10% chance, right? Most daily candles, they only take a high or the low, and then they don't take the opposing side of liquidity. So we did see some volume come in there. Look at this candle right here. This 957 candle really digging up into that fair value gap. Very curious to see if we get this fair value gap retest. All right, so we do have Jolt's job openings in about a minute 45 seconds. So we could get slippage on our break even. But I'm not in a huge risk, so let's see what this 10 a.m. candle does. I like the way this 4-hour candle looks to take out this low, at least. We'll see. You can start to see the volume starting to slow down a little bit before this data release. Peter, dude, it's so funny. It you laugh, but last week I posted a short on Instagram, bro. I got slippage on Simfund. It's crazy, bro. Like why? Why just fill me at my price? It's all demo money anyway on these prop firm accounts. It's crazy. All right, so 20 seconds. Let's see what happens here. I think if we do trade higher, it could be even better fill, right? All right, so already got some slippage on that open there. Price is filling that gap from the data release. Trading higher, we could see this fair value gap get tapped into, this inverse. But then I would want to see a reaction. The past couple Jolts job openings that we've had has been very anticlimactic. I mean, it's not a huge data release. It is a red folder, so it's something you do have to be cautious of. But I mean, look, I mean, we just got a 12-point move. I mean, nothing crazy at all. All right, so we're starting to get that run lower. Could be getting that drive into midnight opening price. Yeah, you could see ES here is dancing around that opening price, midnight open. I think we will trade higher towards or lower towards this Asia low though. You could see on ES here we have not taken a higher low though on the daily candle. So that is a little interesting to see as well. We still have a clean high and a clean low. This could be a situation where we do tap into this fair value gap, this 4-hour fair value gap, or the midnight open, and then we rally higher. But I don't know. We have so much data release for the rest of the week. I don't think a move like that would happen at this point. I think we trade down into this area and we kind of fizzle out. Maybe make a move higher, but I think we will stay in a range like this, right? For today. That makes the most logical sense to me. Unless we just completely dump and create a bearish engulfing candle, right? But a lot like yesterday, how I mentioned that we could stay in a small range. It could happen again today. But we're obviously seeing a little bit more price movement. This is good price action, right? We're getting a nice manipulation leg right off the open, trading lower. It's perfect. It's perfect. Just one more leg to the downside here. We can sweep this liquidity and take that London low. Almost there, brother. Almost there. Yeah, I would just look for this daily candle to flip bearish as well and just take out the current daily low. This definitely could be an inside bar candle today forming on ES. I could definitely see that as a possibility, especially with all the data releases coming up. Think it's engineering some liquidity. That's possible, man. It's definitely possible. Definitely possible. Yeah, I'm not. Honestly, I'm not sure what to expect with the data release this week. I will be a little cautious of that, but I think if they cut rates, I think we will see the market just continue to make more highs, right? But if they stall it out again, we could start seeing price reverse some of this, right? Some of this huge move that's happened. We could start to see a little bit of a retracement back into some of these lows if they stall the rates again. All right, so getting that leg lower. Let's see if we can drive into that midnight opening price. What up, Sling? How's it going, brother? Good morning. What's going on? Oh, Eric's up in here too. What up, Eric? How's it going, bro? And we got Eduardo. What up, Eduardo? Four-hour fair value gap. Yeah, we did a little bit of a 4-hour fair value gap, right? Very curious to see if we trade off of this consolidation right here that happened. We didn't quite tap into that Asia range. I do think we go lower here. I still think we go lower, but I don't want to see price start trading back. Sling, you're out for the day. 8:54. Perfect, man. Very good. Nice, brother. That's fire. Yeah, I mean, we're in a risk-free trade, right? So, I mean, I have the conviction that this midnight open will get hit and it'll probably trade through it a little bit, especially if we have this London low and we have this 4-hour fair value gap. I think we will trade through for some of these lows, especially seeing this accumulation, manipulation, and now distribution. Now, it could take a little bit longer, like the next hour to get there, but we'll see. But yeah, we're just chilling. The volume imbalance from the news event. Yeah, I think if anything, we trade back up into it. Trade back up into it and possibly react off that. Now, ES did take that London low, right? ES took that London low, and it's having a kind of a strong reaction off that London low. But we could see price holding a little bit down here. We closed below, now we're holding. Now, if we come back and we close back in the range and we close above this volume imbalance, I could see us having some retracement, right? And that might not be fun to sit in. Because like we talked about before, we could see another day where we just kind of fizzle out, right? Because we have data release this week. I'm just thinking about it from, a weekly perspective. What is likely to happen in the market? Are we likely to have a huge move on Tuesday before any big data release happens? No, not really, right? So just trying to keep it logical. We could even run back for the high, but at least we have our break even here. Andrew, you got some shorts in? Nice, brother. Yeah, looks good. Yeah, I love seeing that that manipulation leg higher right off the open. Gave us a really good fill up here, just basically able to call a top. Anywhere in this candle was honestly great, right? You could have entered here, 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 here. It's all good though. Trading's not meant to be perfect, right? It's not meant to be perfect. Now we did just barely tap up into that volume imbalance right there. Let's see if this 5 minute can react off of it. Wait, wait, I was looking at your chart wrong. I thought you were in a sell position up there. So you're in longs. Okay. You missed the shorts. Okay, okay. Yeah, I couldn't. I was looking at that the take profit at the top that you had there. I thought that was your entry for a second. Yeah, we could see price start to trade up in the equilibrium of this move. I really don't want to see that because that means I gotta wait longer in this trade. I'd honestly like to see it accumulate a little bit right here and make that final move down. But it is possible we come up and trade around this equilibrium before trading down again. If we start trading towards this equilibrium, it could be like 11, 12, or even the PM session that makes this move, especially with all the data releases later this week. We could see price just chopping around, right? And then maybe make one more leg lower for the rest of the day. But I would much prefer if this just accumulates and slams down, obviously, then I could just walk away for the day. Yeah, Randy, if you gotta head out, I would say it would be a good close too. That's something I want to practice myself is having being out of trades before like, maybe 11:15, 11:30, latest 12 o'clock. You know what I mean? If we're not getting that push to the area I want, I don't want to be in for the rest of the day. And like I said, this is really good price action considering we have FOMC tomorrow, right? Like this is a lot of movement. Typically, you wouldn't see movement like this day before FOMC. So, I mean, we're kind of lucky to have gotten what we got because now we could see price is getting kind of ugly. Not gonna lie, I don't like how this price action's looking. Made your money back plus then some yesterday. Yeah, that's good, man. That's good, brother. Hmm. ES is playing with you, dude. ES is it's slow moving, man. It's slow moving today. But if you notice, whenever an inside bar wants to form on the daily, if you're seeing price not sweep a daily high or low, you can expect some really choppy price action and not so favorable. And I've blown up more accounts than I could even remember trading days like this, inside bar day candles. And it took me a long time to figure that out. But this is just price figuring out where it wants to go, right? Go back on some of back test some of your worst trading days if you can remember and if you like logged it. I guarantee you it's on days where price chopped around, right? And you had inside day candles, inside bars. Yeah, revenge trading, man. I feel like revenge trading is something that always comes back, bro. And I thought I beat revenge trading, and 2 weeks ago I got caught revenge trading, bro. And that's what cost me. That's what cost me my PA accounts, bro. My rules and my discipline was so good, and then like 2 weeks ago, I just went on tilt, and I had a series of 2 bad weeks, and it cost me my accounts. It's so crazy how fast that can happen, and once you think that you have it dialed in and locked in, it can come back on you, man. It creeps back up on you. But yeah, trading, you never stop learning, man. There's always something to be learned. And I think once you get past that point of, technical analysis, I think trading just becomes about learning about yourself, right? You're just learning how to control your emotions and how to be disciplined and how to risk manage, things like that. Because once you learn how to trade, it's a skill set that you always have. It's easy, learning the technical analysis, learning fair value gaps, order blocks, all that. Once you get past that point, then trading is all about you and yourself, learning about yourself and how you react to the market. How it's like me, I talk about all the time. I can't trade on the 1 minute. You know what I mean? I trade on the 1 minute. I got back to that stuff 2 weeks ago, and look what happened. I blew my accounts. So it's all about finding what works for you and being consistent with that. Because once you get to that point, trading is going to be very boring. Trading is going to be very boring at that point because you're just repeating the same process every day. There's no learning curve anymore. You're not actively learning. You're just doing the same thing every single day and just logging your data. You know what I mean? Yeah, Jofer, that is true, man. And trading will teach you patience in life as well. I go back to the thing all the time, if you're sitting at a stoplight, if you're sitting at a stoplight and somebody is ahead of you, and that shit turns green, how long are you waiting before you honk the horn? I use that analogy all the time because that'll show you, like, are you a patient person, or are you going to give somebody grace and just, like, give them maybe 5 seconds before they go through the light? You know what I mean? It's little things like that you understand how you are as a person. Randy, that's amazing though, man. If you can be consistently profitable and that's something, that has worked, you found success in trading, that's what a lot of people dream for, you know. Just an extra $200 to $300 just to pay like a light bill or something, you know what I mean? And that's what a lot of people, especially young guys coming into the space, they really want to make trading work and become successful because a lot of people are flashy gurus, you know, and selling, flashing their lifestyle, but how they got rich, was, these coupon codes right here and selling courses, not actually trading like this. You know what I mean? Selling Discord memberships, selling courses, getting coupon codes, affiliate links, things like that. That's how they actually got there. You know what I mean? So people, I mean, me, I mean, obviously I'm as transparent as it gets. I tell you if I blew my 20 accounts and all that shit, you know, but at the end of the day, I am a trader. Like that's all I care about being. Yeah. He that guy, you know, I really wish he would practice what he preaches in the market and he showed a little bit more of the trading side of things. But it is a scenario where you could be a good coach but not a good athlete, right? And I think that's a little bit of the case with ICT. But he is somebody that you can sit there and listen to and just, he does rant, but he does have good life lessons. But you talk to anybody over the age of 50 with, any experience in any type of you know, for him it's trading, right? But if you talk to somebody that's lived their whole life doing one specific thing, they're going to be able to talk to you forever about it. You know what I mean? Yeah. The biggest thing, I think the people try to apply his concepts and people get stuck on the 1 minute time frame too much and forget the fundamentals of trading, which is just risk management and discipline. You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, if you can't do those two things, it doesn't matter how good of an ICT trader are you, or support and resistance. You could have a 90% win rate strategy and still be unprofitable just because your risk management is trash or your discipline's trash. You know what I mean? And that's the hardest thing about being a retail trader is you have to have the full package. You got to be able to risk manage. You got to be able to have discipline. You got to have the strategy. You go work at some of these firms in New York City and stuff. If you go work at S&B Capital, for a legit prop firm, they have risk management teams. They have discipline teams. They have a psychology team. They have a strategy team. You're working as a team. You're not just by yourself trading. And that was one thing that, you know, intrigued me. If I ever opened a mentorship, you know, for a community or anything like that, I would really focus on that one-on-one and holding accountability, right? I would, if I had students that I mentored one-on-one, I would be on them every week. Let me see your trades. Let me see your trades. What trades did you take this day? Why did you take 5 trades this day? You know what I mean? Because that's what's important, the discipline and the risk management. Hey, why did you risk $400 here instead of your normal consistent $200? I would hold accountability. It wouldn't be more so, strategy based and things like that. It would be more accountability based. Somebody to basically be like, not a drill sergeant, but just be, a mentor, a teacher. You know what I mean? Because it is really hard to hold yourself accountable as a solo person in this game. You're by yourself. You don't have a team. You don't have anything like that. You don't have somebody holding you accountable. It's you versus you. Eric wants somebody to unplug his internet. That is what's nice about Top Step. You can lock out your accounts, right? Wow. That guy blew you off. Is it because he's not a fan of ICT? That's crazy, man. That's crazy. See, I've never blow anybody off. My ego is so small when it comes to trading because I know you can be profitable trading so many different strategies. All right, so getting that final push into that midnight open there, we just barely missed it by a tick. Just barely missed it by a tick. I'm going to go ahead and close my trade there.
Order filled.
Yeah, it was one tick off, but it's okay. I closed there for a profit. All right, so that's day one on the 20 PA counts. Basically just a 1 hour profit for today. Pretty good. Pretty good.